Hi, I'm Lee, and I'm happy with my smile.
And I'm other Lee, and I ain't happy with my smile.
I went to White, Greer, and Maggard, and they fixed my smile for me.
And I never smile, and that's why I'm having some alone time here at dinner.
I love that I can go to White, Greer, and Maggard with all my questions.
And I love that I don't have to brush my teeth at night.
Don't be like this, me. Go to White, Greer, and Maggard for a picture-perfect smile.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S Sports. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
Folks, this is Gary Ball, and you hear my catchphrase, soup and a sandwich. When I want the best potato soup and prime rib sandwich, I head over to Rafferty's Restaurants after my games. Check out Rafferty's 9 great locations throughout Kentucky, and all you teens, you can eat at Rafferty's before those big ball games. The open prime rib sandwich is what legends are made of. Ask Joe B. Hall, the legend himself, it's his favorite. Rafferty's a big supporter of high school sports throughout Kentucky. Rafferty's, where the special is you. Well, good evening. Back to the 43rd District Basketball Tournament. Tonight it's the Lafayette Catholic boys game, the number 2 and 3 seed. Gary Ball with Coach Nate Valentine from Lexington Christian. William Warfield producing. Coach Valentine, thanks for sitting in tonight. I know it's going to be a good one because whenever Lafayette and Catholic play, you know, there's that proximity thing there. I mean, you could walk over here from Catholic or vice versa, only about a half a mile apart. So everybody familiar with each other, and that's going to be the case in this game. Both teams very familiar with the other team's philosophies.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, they, these two guys have obviously played each other and had a ton of success in the past few years, and both teams making good state tournament runs. And obviously with Coach Salzman and Coach Mendenhall working under the Danny Haney tutelage, they're really familiar with each other and play the same system for a long time. So I think we're in for a really good ball game tonight. You know, as a coach, you won last night in impressive fashion. So you've got Dunbar tomorrow night. You're here not only as a broadcaster, but you're here to kind of watch these two teams and do a little observation. Should you knock off Dunbar tomorrow night, because that's who you'd play in the district championship Friday night. Yeah, obviously, you want to be as prepared as you can. At this point, I think it comes down to more about your guys just going out and playing and doing what they do. You know, a lot of teams don't change much this time of the year, maybe a couple minor changes. But, it's always good to see, how certain players react in a big moment and see what changes have been made. But, we were fortunate enough to get out of here with the win last night against Stage Creek. And Mike Allen does a great job and did a great job last night having his guys prepared, and we were fortunate to get out of here with the W. You know, everybody talks about Luke Johnson, and they should. He averages 24 points a game for Lexington Catholic. But tonight I think the job Peter Whitman's able to do on big Ross Jenkins, a big 6'6", 6'7" center for Lafayette, could be a real key to this basketball game. Oh, there's no question. Ross is a terrific player. I mean, he's a guy that I think if he played on the AU circuit in the summers and had a desire to play at the next level, he would be a very highly recruited player and have a chance to play at a Division I school somewhere. You know, so he's definitely a big part of what they do, and makes it so hard to guard because they have so many guys, Harrison Lane and a lot of those guys that can shoot it from extended range, and it's really hard you got to kind of pick your poison and decide if you want to take Ross away or if you want to take the perimeter game away. So certainly going to be a big matchup. Taking that perimeter game away, of course, kind of hones in on Harrison Lane and Downey more of a slicer, dicer, but Jaquante Carpenter can come in off that bench and knock down some threes as well for Lafayette. We did the Mercer County game, and he had 20 points in that game. He's really the key to their come-from-behind win over Mercer, which was undefeated at the time. They played right here at the Jock Sutherland Classic. We've nicknamed Jaquante the LCA Killer because it seems like he'll go away for a couple games, and then when we play either here or at our place, Jaquante seems to show up at the worst time and make a big three. So he's certainly got the ability to make big shots, and he always has a tendency to have the ball in his hand when the game's on the line and is not afraid to take the big shot. Mike Mendenhall is the coach at Lafayette. Brandon Saul's been the head coach of Lexington Catholic, and we'll talk about those two guys when we return here. We'll come back with more pregame. We'll have the starting lineups in the tip here, the 43rd District semifinal game between Lafayette and Lexington Catholic. We'll coach Nate Valentine, Gary Ball, William Warfield. We'll return after this timeout. The White Greer Maggard High School basketball 43rd District game of the week.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White, Greer, and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
We're back here to the 43rd District Basketball Tournament. We're set for Lafayette Lexington Catholic. They have stopped the clock here to honor, I believe that's Vernon Hatton, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, Vernon Hatton, who hit the shot at Rupp Arena that's Kay would still called before he passed one of the best shots ever made in Kentucky basketball history. So Vernon Hatton, he played here at Lafayette, went on to the NBA, and of course I certainly remember the Royals, Cincinnati Royals, since I lived up in that area for so many years up in northern Kentucky, so very familiar with that team. And of course Vernon Hatton was Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky. And of course this year, the way they're doing it this year is all 16 regions, and some regions even have co-players of the year. They are Mr. Basketball finalists, Nate, and right now I've seen all the players in this state. I've seen all the big players, the guys that are considered for Mr. Basketball. My vote right now, and no disrespect to any other guys that are in the running, is Carson Williams of Owen County.
You know, he's one of the few that I haven't really had a chance to see play.
Thank you very much.
And now they're honoring, it looks like, Big Ross Jenkins. Nate Valentine talked about him. And, you know, the reason the young man, he could play at the next level, as you said, but he's a Governor Scholar. I mean, the kid is just lights out in the classroom, and he's going on to great things in his life, pretty much whatever he wants to do, because a Governor Scholar, you can go to any university in the you know, like
right.
the UK or any of the University of Louisville. That's a state institution, and I believe everything's paid for, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to be wherever he goes and whatever he does, he's going to be successful at it. So
no doubt. So they're honoring him. He got the 1,000-point club. Harrison Lane mentioned him last night as joining that 1,000-point club. And you not only is he a great basketball player, he's a better person. Ross Jenkins, we've had him on the Scholastic Ball Report a couple of times, and he just carries himself so well. Ross Jenkins. If you're wondering, the 11th region was one of those regions that had players of the year. Tisdale from Henry Clay, and he was tied by Darius Williams at Dunbar, so they're the two co-players of the year, so they're both candidates for Mr. Basketball. Now we get to the starting lineups. Lexington Catholic, they come in 14-12, but Coach Valentine, I don't think that really tells you about their body of work, because they have played one of the toughest schedules in the state this year.
Oh, there's no question. Anytime you're in this district, you know, you're playing 6 to 8 games against top 25 opponents before you even begin to start your scheduling. So, you know, definitely records are not indicative of how good both of these teams are.
Starters for Lexington Catholic tonight, being announced by the public address announcer. T.C. Price, the sophomore, will get the start tonight. Luke Johnson, the 6'4 junior, averaging 24 points a game, will get the start. Zan Payne, the 6'5 sophomore, averaging a double-double. Donovan Morris, 5'11 senior, and Peter Whitman, 6'6 junior, who's really coming on of late. He was injured early in the season, had some surgery, and was out for quite a bit. And since he got back from that injury, he has really been a force on the boards for Lexington Catholic. Lexington Lafayette, coached by Mike Mendenhall, they are 18-9, and they can have the same argument that you can about Catholic with the schedule they played this year. They have played one of the toughest strengths of schedule. That's why they're ranked so high in the state. I believe even with an 18-9 record, they're ranked currently 12th in the state in almost every poll.
And they've, you know, obviously with the big win here against undefeated Mercer County, they're the only team that's been able to knock them off. Certainly gave them a boost, so they're certainly capable of beating anybody out there.
Chris Wharton announced as a starter. Harrison Lane. Also Jalen Jenkins, Eric Powell, Harrison Lane, and Ross Jenkins. Little surprise, there's no Downey in there in that lineup, but I'm sure we'll see him in short order. So that's your starters for Lafayette, coached by Mike Mendenhall. Mike Mendenhall III. I guess we better get that in there.
That's correct.
Mike Mendenhall III. And, of course, Catholic, the black and the blue, they're the visitors on the scoreboard. Lafayette on their home floor. Pretty good crowd in here, Coach Valentine. I'm glad to see it because we didn't have a real good crowd in there for the girls' game earlier.
Really good crowd considering Kentucky's playing a couple blocks down the street.
You know what? I totally forgot about that. And I'm a UK grad. How in the world would I forget about that? But that's true. That's a good point. So jumping up will be Ross Jenkins at 6'6" and a half. He'll go up against 6'6" Peter Whitman. And this basketball 43rd District game is just about set here. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine, and William Warfield producing here on PrepSpin. And this 43rd District boys semifinal game is underway. Whitman taps it. Johnson tracks it down, loses balance, and now he's going to work it across. Finally gets it across the Big L, and looks like Lafayette's dropping back coaching the 2-3 zone.
Yeah, that's how they typically started, and then like to get into that full court pressure if they can get some early baskets.
Johnson and Price will play catch out front. Now pounding it down out there is Donnie Morris. He goes over to Price. Couple of surprise starters tonight for both clubs. There's Payne. He kicks it out to Johnson. A deep three. Back of the rim, no. Rebounded, though, by Payne. Payne to the basket on Jenkins. Hook shot. Back of the rim, no. Knocked out, I think Johnson got a hand on that, I believe. Yes, that's going to be the call there by the officials. So what you think of the first possession by Catholic?
You know, I think it'll take him a couple trips down the floor to really get loose and settle in. When you're in these elimination games, sometimes it takes a couple minutes for guys to settle down.
That's Jalen Jenkins. He comes over to Chris Wharton, the junior. Kick it in the corner lane. The long three. Bullseye. Harrison Lane. That's a good sign for Harrison to knock down his first three because he's a streaky shooter, as you know, Coach.
Absolutely. I've rebounded many balls for that boy over Transylvania over the years.
And he made a lot of them, didn't he?
He made a lot of them.
3-0. Harrison Lane knocks down the three. Of course, coach of son of Brian Lane, the coach at Transy. Did they make the playoffs this year?
They did. They got in as the sixth seed.
Steal by Powell. Missed the layup. Powell had it, and coming out of it with it, Johnson. He clears it out now to Morris. He kicks it over to Payne, son of Kenny Payne, the assistant coach at Kentucky. I'm sure after they get done down there at Rupp Arena, he's going to either get over here or watch his son play because he's had a lot of games. Payne's jumper good, right on cue. Zan Payne, he averages a double-double, and he's a sophomore.
He just plays so hard.
Wharton kicks it in the corner to Harrison Lane. Down low, Ross Jenkins. Off glass, good. Great start by Lafayette. Ross Jenkins, great assist by Harrison Lane, and it's 5-2. Payne has the only basket for Dunbar. There's a bad pass from Donnie Morris that skips underneath the hands of Payne and turn it over to Lafayette. 6:12 to go here in this first period. From the 43rd District, good crowd in here at Lafayette High School. Tomorrow night, doubleheader. Girls game will be Lafayette Lexington Christian. Boys game will be Lexington Christian taking on Dunbar. We'll have that one. I'll be calling that one. First out of the right side, and there's the three-point attempt. Won't go there for Lafayette's Eric Powell. Coming down, Johnson kicks it over to Price. Luke Johnson, of course, everybody knows. He's the younger brother of Tanner Johnson. Didn't play last year. Set out last year, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a terrific addition for Coach Salzman this season to add a guy that's averaging over 20 a game.
Donnie Morris dumps it down low to Whitman, turns and scored. And Whitman kept that alive, Coach. He hustled, tapped it back out front, and then got the delivery back and laid it in.
Great look by Donnie Morris there.
5-4. There's Lane out deep out of the corner again, and in and out that time. Went halfway down for Harrison. Came out. He made his first three. 5-4. Catholic could take the lead on this trip as Luke Johnson hands it to Donnie Morris, because everybody knows Donnie was a great receiver on that football team for Lex Catholic. Went to the state championship and played Belfry. Ran into a buzzsaw called Belfry. Man, they're good. Morris down low to Whitman. Whitman, of course, the younger brother Jack Whitman. And here's Morris way out top. Back of the rim, no. Battle for it. And Harrison Lane says, I'll take that, thank you very much. Kicks it past, the high pass down low to Powell, goes out of bounds, off the hands of Catholic. And substitution, first sub of the game, is going to be Blake Scott, the 6'2 junior. Scott, early in the year, Coach Valentine, averaged double figures when he started before Morris and Ogbugu got back in the Catholic lineup off that football team.
Yeah, he's a guy you can't leave open. If he gets his feet set and is able to line it up, he's going to make it a lot like Lane here.
Lane's three. He's got 2 of them now. 6 points for Harrison Lane. He's 2 for 3 from downtown, and it's 8-4 Lafayette. Well, that's a good sign for Harrison. Knocked down 2 of his first 3 threes.
Absolutely.
Johnson flashing down the left side, cut off. And a bad pass. He threw it out and tracking it down, Jenkins, but he can't get it before it goes out of bounds. Great hustle, though, and it'll turn over to Lafayette, 8-4. The story so far has been Harrison Lane knocking down 2 big threes at 6 points, 6 of the 8 for Lane. They lead at 8-4.
That's when they're at their best. When Harrison's making shots, he demands so much attention on the perimeter, and that's when it opens it up for Ross inside.
4:18 to go. First quarter action. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine. He'll be in action tomorrow night against Paul Dunbar. At least your ball club will. You'll be coaching.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to suit up, are
my
you?
playing days are over.
You could probably still play, though.
Not in this region.
There's going to be a foul. They tried to deliver it down to Ross Jenkins, and I think Whitman went over the back. So foul went on Whitman. That's his first, team's first.
First foul of the game.
Yes, sir. 4:12 here in the first period, 8-4. Looking over to Ross Jenkins. Ross looking out top. Now spinning, gives it up to Jalen Jenkins, the senior. Jenkins, he's working out there on Blake Scott. Jenkins pounding it down, now looking for some cutters. Little movement now. Bounces over to Powell. He launches a long 3 off the iron. No, Jenkins there clears an offensive rebound to Jenkins. Lane looking for his third 3. Rolls in there. Hit the rim, and that's called a kind roll, Coach Valentine.
Yeah, he's probably earned that. He's probably taken enough shots in this gym to where he earned a roll.
9 for Lane here early. Here's a steal. Lafayette, they lead it out. Right side, hanging, won't go. Tapped around Payne. Lane comes in there and gets it back. Good pass to Jenkins by Lane. A no-look pass, and Brandon Salzman seen enough. What a pass by Harrison Lane to big Ross Jenkins, and you can tell those two have played a time or two together.
Absolutely. That was a great look and a great finish by Ross.
13-4 here on PrepSpin, and we'll keep it right here, 3:27, and we'll tell you about our sponsors, White, Greer, and Maggard, All Sports in the Fayette Mall, Whitaker Bank, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Bob Roberts over in Richmond, Central Bank, Rafferty's Restaurants, with a special as you in UK Sports Medicine. We'll be talking to Jenny Williams, the athletic trainer from UK Sports Medicine, here at halftime, 13-4. And, Coach, what has Lafayette done to get this 9-point lead?
Well, the pressure's bothered Lexington Catholic a little bit, but this game's far from over. It's awful early, and they expect Lexington Catholic to make a run here any minute.
Javen Harden has come in, the freshman for Catholic, to the basket. Scott put it up. No, Jenkins altered that a little bit. Harrison Lane now lost a handle on it. Lane kicks it over to Jenkins. In the corner they go, and there's a high arcing 3 rattled in there, and that was Chris Wharton.
Lafayette's really shot the ball well from the perimeter to this point.
They lead 16-4. Lafayette, we're looking like they did early in the season when they jumped out to what, that 12-0 record, I believe it was?
Yeah, they're getting some really good looks right now, too.
Harden hands it now to Luke Johnson, who hasn't got on track yet. He has not scored here with 2:45 to go in this first quarter. Johnson, one of the leading scorers in the 11th region, averaging 24.5 points a game. Hands to Scott. Over to Harden. This zone looks like it's giving Catholic some problems here early on.
It is, and they'll just need to make a couple shots from the perimeter to open it up.
Out front is Wharton and Lane. Jenkins has one of the wings on that 2-3 along with Powell, and you got Ross Jenkins, 6'6", manning the middle under the basket. 16-4. Here's an open 3, Harden, and it's off the mark. Peter Whitman battling, and he is knocked to the floor. Jump ball called, and possession arrow will go to Lafayette. Hard to see that possession clock from up here. 2:05 here in the first period. Early scoring, Harrison Lane leads everybody with 9. 2 each for Scott and Whitman. Timeout called by Lafayette with 2:05 to go in the first quarter. Thanks for watching here on PrepSpin, and we'll step out here and take a break here on PrepSpin.com. 16-4, Lafayette on top.
I am Lee, and I'm happy with my smile.
And I'm Other Lee, and I ain't happy with my smile.
I went to White, Greer, and Maggard, and they fixed my smile for me.
And I never smile, and that's why I'm having some alone time here at dinner.
I love that I can go to White, Greer, and Maggard with all my questions.
And I love that I don't have to brush my teeth at night.
Don't be like this, me. Go to White, Greer, and Maggard for a picture.
Back here at the 43rd District at Lafayette, where the Generals have jumped out. Ball knocked away to a 16-4 lead over this good Catholic team. That's Chris Wharton. He knocked down the big three out of the left side. Harrison Lane has hit three big threes. He's lined up on the right side. Scott making sure he gives him a lot of attention over there. We understand Downey's in street clothes, TJ Downey.
Yeah, that's certainly a loss for Lafayette. But they seem to be playing well without him right now.
Johnson to Whitman, lost a handle on it. Throws it back out top now as he gives it up out there to J.J. Ogbugu. Three-pointer, Ogbugu, good! That's a huge shot there for Catholic, in particular J.J. Ogbugu, who's been struggling from three this year, Coach, at only 19%.
Yeah, they certainly needed that shot right there.
Minute 12. First period, 16-7. That kind of puts a thumb in the dike, doesn't it?
Tends to get the defense to pick up a little bit when you can make some shots from the perimeter.
That foul's going to be on Harden, the 5'8 freshman. And we're going to get Sparkman in, the big 6'6 sophomore, Max Sparkman. He'll come in for Whitman. And into the game, Evan Drew for Lafayette. First time we've seen Drew. Also in the game, Cameron Greenup. Greenup was a starter early in the season for Lafayette. So Greenup in there now, Drew, and also William Watkins is in there as well, the 6'3 senior. Wharton in trouble. Now gives it up to Drew. Drew down low. Watkins hanging and fouled there. Pick your poison. Sparkman might have been whistled for the foul, but Scott got some contact there too.
Both teams playing a lot of guys early too, going to the bench and getting a lot of guys involved. I think both teams have played four subs off the bench and certainly going to need it in this game because you're probably going to have to go the distance.
William Watkins, coach, missed the free throw, first of two. That's the third team foul, by the way, against Catholic. No fouls at all have been called against Lafayette. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarter basketball where the team didn't pick up any fouls. There's Lane. He got some contact by Sparkman. Watkins picks it up, lost a handle on it, tried to go up with it. And let's see, did they throw it off Johnson? Yes, they did. Drew was able to get it off Johnson. Now here comes Carpenter. Quante Carpenter, the junior. He checks in. Harrison Lane goes out with 9 points. 3 for 4 shooting, coach, from behind the arc for Harrison. 16-7. Watkins gets the inbound and hands it back to Evan Drew. Drew works there on Harden. They really like Harden. I think he's going to be a really good player at Catholic. Good defender.
No question about it. He's a strong, tough kid with a lot of athleticism.
Man, it rolls in there for Wharton. That's 4 for Chris Wharton. 18-7. Scott deep in the corner, in trouble. Bad pass, and it's picked off by Drew. He read it all the way, didn't he, Coach?
Certainly did.
Drew, and it's blocked away there by Johnson. Off the feet there, though, of Sparkman. It'll go back to Lafayette. 9.4 seconds in the first period, and Lafayette has ripped off 18 points in the quarter to 7. Back in Harrison Lane. Back in comes Whitman. Back in comes, as a revolving door continues, Coach Valentine. Back comes in Eric Powell. And leaving will be Wharton with 5 points and Watkins. Powell, the trigger guy. Bounce down low, and Greenup is going to be fouled, and I believe that's going to go on Scott.
Very good play call there by Coach Mendenhall. They've done an excellent job in the half court executing what Coach has obviously worked on for the last week. But they're following the game plan very well. Looks like to this point on the half court execution.
Action tomorrow night. The Lexington Christian LCA girls will take on Lafayette at 6:15. LCA boys against Dunbar at 8 o'clock. Both those games right here on PrepSpin as Greenup misses the free throw. He's got another one coming, though. Catholic's committed 14 fouls, still no fouls by Lafayette. 8 seconds to go in the first period. Greenup's second one, and it's good. 19-7. Lex-Cath trailing by a dozen. And back into the game is Jalen Jenkins as that revolving door continues for Coach Mike Mendenhall. Shuffled him in. Here's Johnson. Johnson loses the handle on it, on the floor. Johnson gets it back, and it's picked out of there. Watkins, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. First quarter comes to a close with Lafayette 19, Lexington Catholic 7. We'll return to second quarter action here on PrepSpin, the White Greer Maggard Game of the Week. We'll return after this timeout.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud.
19-7, Harrison Lane with 9 points, 5 for Wharton, who's got the start. Luke Johnson held scoreless in that first period. He's got the ball for Catholic right side. Dipsy Doodle, he's not scoreless now, Coach.
It's his first bucket when they do that.
Greenup lost the handle on it. Johnson got the steal. Here comes Luke Johnson. Right side. Here is Morris's three. Off the mark. No. Peter Whitman with the board. Whitman powers it up. No. Tapped around. Payne got a hand on it. Off glass. Knocked down there by Donnie Morris. First basket by Morris. So their top two scorers, Morris and Johnson, get the first 2 buckets of this quarter, Coach, to cut it to a 19-11 ball game.
Morris is a guy that if he gets going, he can really change the game with Luke demanding so much attention, and then you got the big bodies in there flying for rebounds. If Donovan Morris gets it going, they're a really tough matchup.
Evan Drew hands it back to Jalen Jenkins. Ross Jenkins still on the bench. Carpenter stolen by Johnson. He's got a bust out. Getting back Drew. Johnson with the right hand. He will get the soup and the sandwich.
He's very good in transition. He's one of the best I've seen around this year. When he gets in the open court, he finds a way to get it up on the rim and usually gets it to go in and gets a foul. But he's got such great body control. He's never out of control. And can shift in midair. He's very difficult to take a charge on. So when he starts going downhill, he scores at a very, very high percentage.
And he can go with either hand. He shot that with the right hand. 19-13. So 6 unanswered here by the Knights to start the second quarter in less than a minute. And he knocks down the free throw. He's a good free throw shooter as well. 5 down for Johnson. 19-14. Harrison Lane. Here's Big Ross Jenkins back in there. Greenup. Cameron hands it back to Jalen Jenkins. Jenkins across the line. Hands it over to Greenup. A long three. High arcer. Back of the rim. No. And a nice rebound by Johnson. He's really picked up his game. Long pass to Payne, and he's going to be fouled by Greenup on the pass.
I think Lexington Catholic's finally settled in here, and Lafayette came out and made some shots early and got out to a lead, but Catholic's certainly fighting back and picked up the defensive pressure quite a bit.
What can you do to free up, get Ross Jenkins some more shots, and Harrison Lane some good looks from 3? He's knocked down 3 out of 4. Set picks.
Yeah, Ross obviously was out during that stretch, so it would be interesting to see how he impacts the game now that he's back in.
Harden back in there, skips it over to Johnson. He'll shoot that from there. Don't think he won't. He can shoot it from anywhere in the gym pretty much. Johnson crossing over, hands it back to Harden. Morris in there, Peter Whitman, Zan Payne. Johnson, right side, skips it over now to Harden, down to Payne. Payne crossing over, lost the handle on it, and they're going to give it back to Catholic. Say Greenup got a piece of that one. 6:11 to go in the first half. At halftime, we'll have a special guest from UK Sports Medicine. Jenny Williams is going to talk with us. March is National Athletic Training Month, Coach.
Very good.
Those guys do a great job. You got a good one over there at LCA.
And we have one of the best in the business.
Harden. Freshman looking down low to Payne. Back to the basket on Jenkins. Over to Moore. Slides up the three. In and out. Rebounded by who else? Number 44. Ross Jenkins. Long pass to Greenup. Off glass. Good. Nice job by Greenup to realize he didn't have a whole lot of time. He just turned around and put it high off the glass. Knocked it down.
It was a great look by Ross up ahead.
21-14. Lafayette lead back to 7. Long pass to Whitman. Good grab by the big fella. Now goes to Harden, and he traveled with it. Turn it over. TC Price in. Let's see who goes out. Morris goes out for Catholic. So Harden, Price, Payne, Johnson, and Whitman. Wharton, Jenkins, Ross Jenkins, Greenup, and Harrison Lane. Lane wide open in the baseline. They don't see him. Ross Jenkins looked over down to Greenup. He lines up the three. In and out. Harrison Lane was wide open over in the right baseline for a long time. They didn't see him over there, Coach. Here's Johnson's three, bullseye.
If you can't find Lane, you can usually find him in one of the corners.
That's 8 for Luke Johnson. 8 points here in the first 3 minutes, Coach. We held scoreless in the first period.
Yeah, you knew it was a matter of time before he would get it going. The guy averages 25 a game. And the thing that Luke does is you can take him away offensively, try to at least his scoring, but he'll still get 10 or 12 assists, and he's so unselfish, he's fine with it. When we played him the second time, he had 8 points and 12 assists, and he was one of the happier kids walking out of the gym, obviously with the W, and there's not a lot of kids like that are willing to sacrifice their scoring average and willing to get assists like that.
Early in this game, Coach Valentine, it was 16-4 Lafayette, okay? So let's do the math here. Since that point, since 16-4, 13-5 run by Catholic to get them right back in it.
Both of these teams, the way they play, they're kind of built to make runs, and that's what makes them so tough is, a 9 or 10 point lead can evaporate in a matter of minutes against either one of these teams.
Wharton's got a good ball game working. The junior has 7 points. The average is only 6. He's got more than his average here with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
He's stepping up big in place of Downey.
He is stepping up. 23-17. Price, jump pass to Sparkman, goes to Johnson. Johnson looking for double figures, rolls out of there. Jenkins battling, and let's see what the call is. Is that going to go on Sparkman? Yeah, that'll be his second. Also, that's the 17th foul. So bonus situation, Coach, could be a huge factor. Only 2 fouls have been called on Lafayette, so they've got 4 to give with 4:45 to play in the first half.
I would expect them to pick up the pressure, knowing that they just have two team fouls with 4 minutes to go. Expect some real hard full court pressure here.
Jenkins missed it. I was about ready to say before he missed that free throw that for a big guy, he's a good free throw shooter at 76%, but he missed that one. Still doesn't make him a bad free throw shooter because he missed that one.
It does not.
23-17, Johnson. He could have double figures in this quarter. Goes to Price, launches. That's an air ball. It did hit the backboard. There's Harden to the basket. That's no good. And nice strong rebound by Jenkins. Jalen cut off in midcourt by Harden and company. In the middle to Ross. Over to Harrison Lane. Lane backs up, launches the three. Off the iron, no. Payne there battling, and he's going to battle with Carpenter. I don't know what that was about, but Carpenter didn't like the little shove he gave him.
Both teams are playing extremely hard and attacking the offensive glass every possession, and there's going to be a lot of contact.
23-17. Lafayette at one point led 16-4. They lead 23-17 right now against Lexington Catholic. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine, coach from Lexington Christian Academy. William Warfield producing. William does a great job. The king of string, we call him, Coach.
He is one of the best in the business. There's no question the king of string is an appropriate title for him.
Sparkman hands it back to Johnson. 3:52 in the first half. Luke will have all the 11th region action next week. Here's Johnson, a long three. Back of the rim, no. Rebounded by Jenkins. Jalen wanted to push it. Jenkins now hands the lane. He thought about it again. Instead goes down, throws it away. Ross Jenkins passes a little low and a little left. There's Johnson scissoring. Kicks it over now to Price. Three, good. Price was right that time. 23-20. Catholic has closed this lead to 3, which was a dozen. Bad pass. They're going to turn it over. Give it to Lexington Catholic with 3:17. Harrison Lane out. Cameron Greena back in for Lexington Lafayette. 6 state championship, but can you believe it? It's still been since Donnie Atkins' 2001 state title team that Lafayette has won a state title.
I remember it well. That was my senior year. They knocked off Louisville Male, who was number 2 in the country that year.
If you're going to knock somebody off, might as well be the number 2. Here's Payne, turnaround, no. Rebound by Ross, might as well be the number 2 team in the nation, huh?
They were terrific with Larry O'Bannon that went to Louisville and Johnny Mathis who went to Creighton. Michael Bush obviously had an NFL career.
Yeah.
LeVar Carter went to Marshall. They had a terrific team that year.
I went to a Bears game a few years ago. Michael Bush was running back for the Bears then. Carpenter blocked away there by Johnson, picked up by Payne. Payne leads it out now to the basket. Harden throws it up and won't go, and that's going to be over the back, and Sparkman has just picked up his 3rd foul.
Catholic tends to, they got a lot of big bodies they can keep throwing in there, and they'll keep attacking. They're not going to back off and worry about the fouls.
3 on Sparkman. That's the 8th team foul. Lafayette's committed only 3 team fouls. They still got 3 more to give before it'll be bonus time for the Knights. 23-20. Coach Valentine, pretty much what you expected here?
Oh, absolutely. This game's going to go to the wire. I mean, there's no question. It took them 3 overtimes to figure out who was going to win last year in the district tournament, and I wouldn't be shocked if we were there again.
Rolls off there for Carpenter, normally an outstanding shooter.
That's the second front end of the bonus they've missed now.
Yeah. Johnson, Payne, Morris on the floor, Payne on the floor, Lafayette. Jump ball called. Possession arrow will go to Lafayette, and Harrison Lane jumps up off the Lafayette bench. And jumping up, Javen Harden off the Catholic bench, and also coming in will be Chris Wharton. Going out will be Carpenter. Lafayette's only got 4 players on the court. Now they got a guy putting it in bounds, excuse me. Didn't see the guy underneath the basket over there. He counts. He definitely counts.
He definitely counts.
He's got to put it in play. Referee's not going to throw it to him, is he? It's a new rule, Coach. I'm starting my own. Harrison Lane, deep out of the corner, bullseye. It's a dozen. That's 4 threes for Lane. He's 4 for 6, 12 points for Harrison Lane. Pretty good little golfer, too.
He is. There's times when I wish he played more golf than basketball when we're playing him, but he can certainly shoot it.
Agbugu's 3, in and out for Agbugu. On the floor, kicks it out now. They go over to Johnson. A long 3 for Johnson. Off the mark, no. Pulled down, rebounded by Jalen Jenkins. That would cut it to 3. 26-20. Lane's, that was a huge 3 by Lane. Down low, Ross Jenkins. The catch. Jenkins hangs, lays it in.
He's going to score at a high percentage when he catches it down in the paint area.
Coach, that's why he's one of the leading field goal shooters in the state at 62% from the field.
No question.
Right side, knocked down a big 3 for Price. That's the second 3 for Price. He's taking a page out of Harrison Lane's baseline 3-pointer. That's his second 3-pointer. Here's a steal. Agbugu hanging, scooping, scoring. 5 for JJ.
That's 5 points there in about 10 seconds.
28-25. Lafayette by 3. High pass. Lane catches it deep in the corner. Was he out of bounds? There was some contact there as Johnson ran into Harrison, but official said no harm, no foul. Crowd picking up here at the 43rd District. We got a nice crowd in here now, Coach.
Probably got that Kentucky game finishing up, so they're starting to filter in now.
I predict Kentucky will beat them by 20, even though Derek Willis is injured with that ankle. We'll try to get you an update on that at halftime. And Johnson's got it for the Lexcath Knights. Scissoring down the lane. Johnson blocked by Ross Jenkins from behind. Great recovery there by Ross Jenkins to come in from behind after it looked like Luke had an easy lay-in. Ross swatted it out of bounds.
He's very deceptive. He has very long arms, and he has great timing blocking shots. And he's very difficult on that backside of the press to attack. He really protects the rim well.
That's a good point you say that, because Bill Russell, probably the best shot blocker of all time, he says it was all about timing. He was only 6'9", right?
And he blocks a lot of shots. A lot of them don't go out of bounds. He blocks them to himself or to his teammates.
See, I always wonder why they swat it out of bounds. If you can tap it over to a teammate, you get possession.
It looks better on TV when you throw it off the wall.
It makes SportsCenter top 10.
You got that right.
34 seconds, 28-25. We got a good old good news, we like to say here in the South. Catholic and Lafayette, 28-25. Lafayette jumped out 16-4, but Catholic behind Luke Johnson and Price and Agbugu fought back in this thing. Harrison Lane, he leads everybody with 12 points. 14 seconds. Our broadcast teammate last night, he sat in on the broadcast last night. Harrison did. We let him go early, though, Coach, so he can get some rest. Johnson, a long three, off the front of the iron, rebounded by Lane, and that's going to do it for the first half as he heaves it three-quarter court. We go to the locker rooms, and Lafayette has a 28-25 lead over Lexington Catholic. The winner moves on to the district championship Friday night to take on either LCA or Dunbar. And we'll come back with the first half numbers and our halftime guest, Jenny Williams from UK Sports Medicine, will join us. It is 28-25 as the bands really get fired up here. We got the dueling bands going on here at the 43rd. We'll return here with our special halftime guest.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Kentucky's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
1,876 small businesses in Kentucky were financed by Whitaker Bank last year.
Whitaker Bank helped 2,415 Kentucky families make a house a home last year by financing their mortgage.
Over $3 million loaned to Kentucky families and small businesses to help them achieve their dream.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Back here at halftime, Jenny Williams joined us from one of our sponsors throughout the tournaments, Dixie Region tournament as well next week at Easter. Jenny does a great job with UK Sports Medicine. Jenny, thanks for joining us. What a ball game. Lafayette jumped out 16-4. Catholic settled in, but Harrison Lane knocking down 3 after 3. He's got 4 of 6 behind the line, and Lafayette leading 28-25 in a good ball game.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It has been a fun game to watch so far.
You know, you work hard as an athletic trainer to keep all these kids out there on the floor and in the ball games and stuff. And what is it about athletic training? What is it about that field that got you started, so interested in becoming an athletic trainer?
Well, I always grew up loving to play sports and being involved with sports. And I think that's how a lot of athletic trainers get into it. They played sports, they love being around sports, but they also wanted to do something in the medical field. I know that when I met my athletic trainer in high school, I was like, hey, this is the perfect combination of being around sports but also helping people. So I knew that that was what I wanted to do.
Well, you do a great job, and you come out on the Scholastic Ball Report. We're going to actually film out in the field. You and Brian Milam are going to do one tomorrow night for the show that will air Saturday. Madison Central, by the way, is our team of the week this week. And Alan Feldhouse, I don't know if you heard, was named the 11th Region Coach of the Year.
Yep, I saw that he got that. That's awesome.
So Alan Feldhouse, and then we got scholars from Model and also a feature. But one thing we do every week on the show is a UK Sports Medicine Athletic Trainer. And next month, March, is Athletic Training Month. Tell us about that.
You're right. Well, we decided to take the month of March and to recognize athletic trainers and promote the athletic training profession on every level, whether it's high school, college, middle school, professional, to just kind of remind people of who we are, what we do, and why we're here, and what our profession, just how it makes a difference, with all athletes and all sports.
Baseball, I drove in here and I saw baseball out there working on the football field. And so baseball's cranking up, softball's cranking up, tennis. This is an extremely busy time of the year for you guys, you athletic trainers, isn't it?
It is. We had state wrestling this past weekend. Basketball, could be done at any moment now. Hopefully they're all going for about 3 more weeks. But baseball and softball will start games about the beginning of March. You've got track practice, tennis practice. There's never a dull moment around Lafayette High School, or any high school for that matter.
What is it you enjoy most about being? I know you said you like sports and that's how, but what is it you enjoy most? Is it the relationships you build with these young men and all these coaches?
Yeah, I really enjoy the relationships I develop. One of my favorite parts about it, though, is you see an athlete from the first second of their injury when they get hurt. You're helping to figure out what's wrong with them, what we need to do for it, and you're helping them get back to play, whether that takes 2 weeks from an ankle sprain or 8 months from an ACL tear. You're there the whole time, and you really develop a relationship with these athletes in no way that another medical professional does. And so I really enjoy that part of my job.
When you look at the crowd in here, this is a good crowd. Of course, Kentucky's beating Alabama by 20 just down the road here at Rupp Arena. So whenever Kentucky plays, this is Lexington, the home of the Wildcats. So that affects it. But I would think tomorrow night, for those games Wednesday night, when you got Lexington Christian girls playing the Lafayette girls. Allie Denton's done a great job with that team, 22 wins this year. And then the boys' game will be between Dunbar, one of the top teams in the state, and Coach Valentine's LCA team. Friday night, the district championship, so I look for the crowds to get bigger and bigger as we go on.
They should, but this is a pretty decent crowd for this game tonight, especially with Lafayette and Lexington Catholic splitting it during regular season. It's kind of a toss-up.
Well, Jenny, you do great work. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you down the road. We'll see you back out here at the 43rd District.
Yep, sounds good, Gary.
Thanks. Jenny Williams with UK Sports Medicine, one of our great sponsors here on the tournaments with Coach Valentine, Gary Ball. We will take a quick break here, William. Come back, give some stats, and then the second half action here. 28-25, Lafayette on top of Lexington Catholic.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
First half.
Yeah, it was a very evenly matched half, no question about that.
With the basketball, Morris writes, and a three-pointer knocked down by Price. That's his third three-pointer for the sophomore, T.C. Price. We're tied at 28. And that three-pointer won't go out of the corner there for Lafayette's Powell. And on the floor, Harrison Lane battling there with Donnie Morris. First foul on Harrison. That was another story of the first half. Lafayette able to stay out of any kind of foul trouble at all, and Catholic put Lafayette in the bonus at about the 4 or 5 minute mark of that first half.
Yeah, I think you'll see Catholic just start attacking a little more than they did in the first half.
Johnson looking for Price, going baseline, cut off, shovels it back down to Zan Payne. Payne hands it back now back to Donovan Morris. The teammates call him Donnie. 7:07 here in the third. We're tied. This is the first tie we've had in the ball game, Coach.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be the last one either.
Price's three won't go. Tapped up Johnson, no, or Payne, excuse me. And coming out of there with it is Harrison Lane. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine. Jenkins into the basket, hanging, and it rolls out of there. Whitman got a hand on it. Payne rips it off. How many rebounds for Mr. Payne? We'll check his rebounding possession. As Johnson Payne in that first half had 5 rebounds. He's got 6 now.
He'll finish north of 10, I can guarantee you that.
You're exactly right. Price knocked down the big three to tie this up as we started the second half at 28 all. 6:28 in the third here at the 43rd District. Crowd starting, continue to file in here.
I think T.C. Price has been the difference in the game so far with 3 threes. He's really opened things up on the inside.
Payne, 15-foot jumper, back of the rim, no. He's been knocking those down, Coach. Zan Payne. 6:08 in the third. Jalen Jenkins falls to the floor, picked up by Payne right in front of Price. Zan Payne averages a double-double. He averages 12 points, 10.5 boards. He's a sophomore. Did we say that?
He's gonna be a terrific player.
Imagine if he gets up to about 6'7", 6'8", which they say he's still growing.
If he does that, I hope his dad gets another job and gets him out of here so we don't have to play against him for the next 2 years.
Why did I know you'd kind of be wishing for that? Yeah, you're right. And Kenny Payne certainly is a guy that could get a head coaching job. He's done a great job at Kentucky with Calipari. There's no doubt about it.
He's one of the best in the country.
He really is. They say that about him. When they talk about any great assistant, Kenny Payne's name comes up to almost every expert. Price hands back to Johnson, and Harrison Lane on the floor comes up with a great job there by Lane to recognize that Johnson lost the ball there, went after it very quickly. Wharton out of the right side, and Wharton is going to have his stuff blocked there by Whitman, but foul's going to be called on Big Peter Whitman. When you look at Whitman, of course, his brother Jack was 6'9", but Jack was one of the top players in 11th region. He's playing at William and Mary right now, I believe, with Omar Pruitt, the kid out of Montgomery County. But Jack was just a special player, and if you're Peter Whitman, you just don't want those comparisons, do you?
That's a very athletic family. I mean, great pedigree, and those kids are blessed with great bodies, and that's a big part of it when you get to the varsity level, and as you move on, your body can only you can only go as far as your body will take you, and he's certainly built like a house.
Those free throws, Coach, are the first 2 points of this second half for Lafayette. 30-28. They lead by 2 over Lexington Catholic. In front of a nice crowd here. Thanks for watching on PrepSpin. Tell your friends, tell your family. You can watch it anywhere on PrepSpin.com. We'll have the games tomorrow night, championships Friday night, all the 11th region coverage. There's a foul away from the ball.
Yeah, Lafayette's trying to deny Luke Johnson and limit his touches, and then T.C. Price got an illegal screen there as kid from Lafayette tried to fight through it.
Clayton Brooks, Rick Chastain, and Raymond Lightfoot are officials tonight. Down the lane, Jenkins, and it won't roll in there. Tapped up, Ross, no. Ross gets it back right side. Lobs it out front now to Chris Wharton. Wharton, 4:44 to go in the third. Lafayette 30, Lexington Catholic 28 here on PrepSpin. Jenkins to Harrison Lane. Fakes with the ball, goes to Ross Jenkins. Spinning. Low block back to the basket now. Goes back over to Jenkins, over to Wharton. Wharton working on Johnson. Wharton kicks it in the corner, and here's the shot. Won't go there for Powell. Powell had a wide open look, Coach.
I think you'll see both teams start to tighten up a little bit as this game remains close and heads down the stretch.
Great hustle by Lafayette. Harrison Lane actually reached in and tapped the ball away, and then a great hustle play by Wharton to dive on it and give possession to Lafayette. That's just one of those 50-50 balls that Wharton said, I'm going to get it, we're going to get possession, because I see the arrow pointing our way.
Both teams are getting on the floor for every loose ball and going after rebounds hard.
Harrison Lane, as he tried to pass it off, kind of slipped out of his hands. Right side to Johnson. Luke into the lane, fake, and Whitman falling to the floor, couldn't get a handle on it. Lead it out to Jenkins, working on Payne. Jenkins to the basket, throws it up. No, that's going to be a charge there. And I tell you what, I think Coach Mendenhall has a point because Zan Payne was moving all the way. He never got set.
Yeah, that was a tough call. Both guys were attacking there, and it was just a tough call, I think.
Catholic will take it. Blake Scott.
Depends on who you're cheering for, if you like that call or not.
Of course, I don't have a dog in the fight. As you know, Coach, I played at Boone County up in the 9th region.
I've heard stories.
Oh, they're good. Oh, my goodness. 346 from
assist leader, right?
From Steve Wright, probably. Am I correct on that?
That would be correct.
Oh, no telling what Coach Wright would tell you. No, I love Steve Wright. He's a great guy. What a great guy.
He is. He's one of the best coaches in the country and at the high school level, and could be coaching in college and be successful as well. And best of luck to him tonight. I think he takes on McQuarrie Central to move on to the region.
Everywhere he's coached, whether it's South Laurel, where I believe he coached you, right?
He did. He was like a second father to me, and he has such a positive influence on all his players. And, all the wins and all that's great, but he's just a great guy to play for.
Wharton stops and pops and knocks it down over top of Whitman.
It's a big shot.
Big shot, Wharton. 32-28. Lafayette back to a 4-point lead with 3 minutes 18 to go in the third quarter. Another game going down to the wire here at the 43rd District Basketball Tournament here on PrepSpin. Join us tomorrow night for the girls' game at 6:15. And Nate Valentine and his LCA. Here's Johnson, a long three. Front of the iron, no. And they will take on Dunbar at 8 o'clock. Harrison Lane lines up the three. Off the iron, no. Jenkins battling. Did he go over the back? Yes, he did. Payne got the inside position. And Ross went over his back. That's first foul on Big Ross. How are you that big? And that's with under three to go in the third, that's your first foul. And you're that big.
He's a very intelligent player, and that's, he doesn't leave his feet. And like I said, he's got great timing blocking shots, and he's not. A lot of guys will throw haymakers trying to block shots, and he just tips it. And one of the better shot blockers in high school. Yeah,
he really is. And we have 2:58 to go. Again, thanks to William Warfield, our producer. William produces all these games. He's just been signed up to do the Vegas 16 college basketball tournament in late March. He'll be producing that for BD Global. He'll also be producing the Whitaker Bank Boys Sweet 16 and the St. Elizabeth Healthcare Girls Sweet 16 for the KHSAA. William Warfield, he doesn't have a headset on, so we're talking great things about him. He doesn't know what we're saying, Coach.
We can say whatever we want about him. No, he does a terrific job, and such an advantage for these kids that play in this district to be able to have their games broadcast online on a big stage like this.
Lexington Catholic bringing it across in the hands of Donovan Morris. He angles left, bounces to Payne. He's got an open lane. Payne moves in. We're going to have a whistle foul called by, I believe that's Rick Chastain, isn't it? That's two quickly. We talked about Ross Jenkins staying quickly here in the last 20 seconds. He's picked up two fouls. Back in is T.C. Price going out Blake Scott for Catholic. 2 minutes 48 here in the third quarter. Long pass to Payne. Payne strong to the basket, throws it up front of the iron node, and there's a stick back by Johnson.
He made that look very easy, but that's not an easy play to make.
Hanging in the air to the basket. They kick it in the corner to Greenup. He lets the three go. Bullseye. Greenup now with 6 points. 35-30.
Well, Lafayette just keeps attacking against that Lexington Catholic press. They keep attacking and not content with the little lead.
This is the Lafayette team we saw earlier in the season, went on that 12-13 game run. That was a nice move by Payne. They didn't lose a game a whole month of December, I don't think.
No, they're a very good basketball team, both teams out here.
35-32. Ross has it knocked away. Harrison Lane calling for the ball. Instead, he comes over to Chris Wharton, the junior. Wharton to the basket, hanging over Whitman. Whitman got a block, and the officials are going to say a jump ball. Great block there by Peter Whitman.
It was a very good play.
You know what he did? Kept his ground, put his hand straight up, and didn't bring him down. If you chop down, officials are going to call a foul 90% of the time if you chop down. Kept him up, got a full block on it. Coming in is Carpenter. He's going to replace Wharton, and they're going to move Jenkins up on that 2-2-1 full court press with Harrison Lane. He'll be up on that front. A minute 50, 35-32. Catholic with a three can tie it up here. They tied it up earlier at 28 all. As Coach Valentine said, good attack mode by Lafayette. There's Payne knocking it down. Payne has all of a sudden found his jumper.
If he's making that shot, he's very difficult to guard because he's with his length and the way he attacks the offensive glass, he demands a lot of attention.
Pass goes behind Greenup. Cameron was on the left wing as he went down. The ball just sailed out of bounds, turned it over. We talked about turnovers, Coach Valentine, 7 each in that first half for Lex-Cath and for Lafayette.
I think Lafayette's had a few more turnovers than Coach Mendenhall would like here in the second half.
35-34. Long pass to Johnson, and he saves it in bounds to Whitman. Whitman in trouble, though, and it's going to be stolen away there by Carpenter. Carpenter, left side. Carpenter, he runs over top of Lexington Catholic player, and that's going to be Price, and foul's going to go on Price. A lot of coaches in the stands, aren't there, Coach? I mean,
there always are, and I'll tell you, after sitting down there last night in that district tournament game, there's not a hotter seat than what Coach Mendenhall and Coach Salzman are sitting in right now.
Yep.
And anybody that thinks they can do it, I would gladly hand them the keys and let them try it out for a game.
Let them drive it. Let them drive that car. See how they like it. Drew kicks it over to William Watkins. Harrison Lane fakes, goes left, flips it up and in.
Wow.
Nice move there. That's a big-time move right there by Harrison Lane.
Absolutely.
He's got 14. And he leads everybody to the basket, and it won't roll there for Morris. Battle for it. Watkins has got it. Whitman, and one official's got a tie jump ball. Yeah, Chastain about ready to call a jump ball, and the outside official called a foul. So one official had a jump ball, and one official had a foul, and
yeah, it's getting to that point in the game. I don't think either side's not going to like the call, but you got 3 of the best officials in the state out there right now with these 3 guys. They're a great crew, very experienced crew.
37-34. 31 seconds to go, third quarter. Drew stolen away by Payne. And he throws it off the backside. He was trying to lead it out to Harden, the freshman, and it went off his backside out of bounds. Just unfortunate, unforced error there, Coach.
Yeah, that's just one of those plays where you're going to have those turnovers. He was trying to make something happen.
Final in the 42nd, the Henry Clay girls 49, Sayre girls 30. That's a final. And blocked away there by Sparkman. And Greenup, did he get the timeout? No. Official says you stepped out of bounds before you got the timeout.
I think Lexington Catholic's going to try to get Luca. Yeah, Luca shot here.
12 seconds. Johnson taps it to himself twice. Good pass. Sparkman catches it, and we're going to have a travel call on Sparkman. He was surprised to get that wraparound behind the back no-look pass is what surprised him, I think.
And that's one of the things that make Luke so good. A lot of guys would go in and try to finish that, but he dished it off, had a guy wide open, and just, like you said, a little surprise there with it.
And he traveled. 8.7 to go in the third quarter. 37-34. Lafayette by 3. Their biggest lead has been 12. Lafayette and Catholic Knights tied it up at 28 all. It's 37-34. And streaking down Wharton out top, and here's Jenkins, a 3, front of the iron, no. We head to the fourth quarter, and Lexington Lafayette Generals 37. Lexington Catholic Knights 34. We'll return to the final quarter here at the 43rd District here on PrepSpin.com. We'll be back after this timeout.
All S, all P, all O, R-T-S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter. Locally owned and operated since 1972.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White, Greer, and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Back here for the final quarter. Gary Ball, Coach Nate Valentine of Lexington Christian. He'll be in action tomorrow night against Dunbar at 8 o'clock. 6:15 will be the Lafayette girls and Lexington Christian girls. Championships of this district are Friday night. 6:15, 8 o'clock. We'll have all that action on PrepSpin and complete 11th region tournament coverage. There's a quick foul on that inbound pass. We'll have all the 11th region games, boys and girls games, Coach, at Eastern Kentucky University beginning next Monday night at Alumni Coliseum. Jenkins, right side, and gives it up. Wharton now skips it in the corner. Carpenter lines up the three. Back of the rim, no. And nice rebound there by Ogbugu. Boy, he ripped that one out of there. JJ, an all-state football player, getting a lot of looks from some Division I college football teams. Transylvania looking at Donovan Morris, I understand. Payne spinning and banks it home.
That's a difficult shot, shooting over 6'8" Ross Jenkins with extended arms.
Jenkins now to Cameron Greenup. 7:18 to play. 1-point ball game. Wharton in the corner. Carpenter lines it up again. This time in and out. I thought that was in, Coach. Man, that looked like it was in.
Again, Carpenter, he typically makes those shots when the game's really on the line, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps firing and gets one to go.
You're exactly right. We saw that in the Mercer County game when the game was on the line. He knocked down 2 big threes late in that game when Lafayette upset the number 1 ranked team, Mercer County, who, by the way, still that's their only loss of the season. I believe they're 28-1.
It is. Josh Cook's done a terrific job there, Mercer.
Pass to Whitman. Good catch. Throws it up off balance. No rebound by Ross Jenkins. 37-36. Carpenter to Ross Jenkins. Left hand. What a shot by big Ross Jenkins. 8 for Jenkins now. And it's 39-36. Down here you get the looked like Big Whitman was under the basket a little bit too much when he caught that one.
Yeah, I think the pass led him a little bit. Momentum carried him and made it a tough shot.
Whitman knocked to the floor. Lane tries to throw it off Whitman, and let's see what the officials say. They're going to give it back to Lafayette.
Yeah, it was a good play by Jenkins altering the shot, and then Lane tried to save it and throw it off of, I think it was Whitman on the ground, and must have been on the line there.
This is a typical 43rd District basketball game. Hard fought, good crowd, a lot of electricity in the air, Coach.
It's a shame one of these two can't advance on to the region.
They're both ranked in the top 15 in the state, both teams. Right side and in and out. Over there, rebounded though by Whitman. He powers it up over Jenkins. 39-38. Boy, Whitman went to war on that one.
He did. He was relentless on the glass there.
6:15, and here's a pass on White, right to Luke Johnson. Johnson down the lane, and he is going to be grabbed. That might be intentional. That's close to being intentional. They grabbed him, and Catholic, a couple of their players calling for an intentional foul, but they're just going to give him the 2 free throws. So that will send Luke Johnson to the line, who, by the way, Coach, is nearly an 80% free throw shooter. You know, when you average 24, 25 points at any level, probably you're a pretty good free throw shooter like Luke Johnson is.
Yeah, the guys that average that many points typically get to the line 10 or 12 times a game and like you said, make 80, 90% of them.
Luke has double figures. He's looking for his 11th point. He averages 24.5. Southpaw knocks it down. He set out last year. We can't really tell you folks watching why he set out. It was more of I guess it was a decision on his part, right? I'm not sure, but
I'm not sure.
I just know he didn't play last year.
I think this is a chance to give Catholic first lead of the game. Is that right?
Yes, 39-all. They can have their first lead, and he knocks it down. That's a dozen for Johnson. His brother, Tanner That Man Johnson, led him to the state tournament last year. Harrison Lane knocked to the floor, no call. Ross Jenkins looking. He kicks it over to Lane. Lane's got to hustle across. Price cuts him off. And we're going to have a quick timeout because Coach Mendenhall was running out of time there to get it across the timeline. 40-39, Catholic by 1, leading Lexington Lafayette. 6:01 to go. We got to tell you about our great sponsors. They'll be sponsoring all the district and region games. White, Greer, Maggard. Dr. White is going to join us on the broadcast tomorrow night of the boys game. Look forward to talking to Dr. White from White, Greer, and Maggard. All sports, see it in the fields, get it at All Sports in the Fayette Mall. Whitaker Bank, Raising Cane's, Bob Roberts Insurance, Central Bank, Rafferty's Restaurant, UK Sports Medicine. Jenny Williams from UK Sports Medicine joined us at halftime. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine. It's 40-39, and Coach, been a low-scoring game, but all in all, I think it's been a really well-played game because both teams have really gotten after it.
It has. You know, you got two similar styles where they rely on turnovers and rely on pressure and shoot a lot of threes. And I think Catholic has to feel pretty good about where they are, considering Luke Johnson and Donovan Morris haven't really gotten it going from three yet. You know, if those guys start making from the perimeter, I think they could certainly extend this lead.
Big point about this game, the winner not only moves to the district championship Friday night, they move on to the regional tournament because the winner of the district and runner-up go to the regional tournament next week. Winner here punches their ticket. Jalen Jenkins across the line for Lafayette. Angles left side, gives it over to Harrison Lane. Lane back to Jalen Jenkins. Ross posting up down low on Zan Payne. Wharton. 5:45 to play. 40-39. Knights on top of the Generals. Generals at one point had a 12-point lead in this game. That was early on, 16-4 they led. Well, they jumped out big time. Harrison Lane knocking down all those threes early on.
And I would expect him to probably get one off maybe right there.
Right there, and he knocked it down right on cue, Coach.
He's got ice water in his veins. He's not afraid to take the big shot from anywhere on the floor.
That is 17 for Harrison. Three-pointer won't go. There's Whitman battling, though. Whitman grabs it, leads it out to Luke Johnson. Johnson kicks it back over more. Same spot this time. Off again. There's Payne clearing. Payne hanging and draws the foul on Cameron Greenup.
That was great effort right there by Zan Payne. He just kept attacking and kept going after it.
And Peter Whitman. The time before that. So here's Payne. Knocking down the free throw. Payne now. If he knocks this down, he'll have a double-double. He'll have 10 points, 10 rebounds.
And that is not his first one of the year.
No. He's probably one of the leading double-double guys in the region. What do you think?
I would think he has to be.
Got them both. So he's got double figures, 10 points and 10 rebounds. He had at halftime, he only had a couple of points, but he did have 5 rebounds. 42 all. We're tied. Lex Cath, Lexington Lafayette. Here at the 43rd District Basketball Tournament. Wortman, good pass right side. High off glass. Rolls in there. Boy, this Greenup kid has played well tonight, Coach.
Certainly has. They've stepped up big.
44-42. Greenup with 8 points now. Donovan Morris pounds it down on Harrison Lane. Lane just knocked down that NBA three for his 17th point a couple possessions ago. 4:31, 44-42. Javen Harden in there, the freshman. Interesting to have a freshman in there. The critical part of the game, it means you feel he's pretty good. Harden jumps up, grabs it. There's some good athleticism right there. Penetrates into the lane. Harden, and it's blocked away by Ross Jenkins. Ball knocked away. Payne comes out of there with it. Jenkins back. He's got Johnson. Payne runs into him, and charge call. Payne should have given that up to Luke Johnson. He would have had a wide open layup.
Yeah, that was an excellent job by Jalen Jenkins, sacrificing his body to get his team another possession there after an unfortunate turnover.
Well, and Jalen Jenkins knew there's no way he's going to get over to cover Johnson, so he said, hey, I'll take the charge on Payne. Surely he's going to pass the ball, but even if he passed the ball, he probably would have charged because he had too much momentum going.
The foul puts Lafayette at the line at the bonus.
44-42. Foul went on Donovan Morris, his second. Coming back in will be T.C. Price, who's knocked down 3 threes for Catholic. Jenkins will step up there for Mike Mendenhall. No, they're going to put Wharton up there.
One of the interesting things to see in this game is as this clock gets under 4 minutes now, typically if Coach Mendenhall gets a lead, even a 3 or 4 point lead, they'll spread it out and really make you come out and guard, and then they'll attack off the dribble.
Big miss there for Wharton at the line. It was a 1+1, rebounded by Payne. 44-42. Catholic can tie or take a lead with a 3. Johnson's got it. Luke, right side. Jenkins cuts him off. Nice spin move. Lays it up and in. Big time move for Luke Johnson, who now has 14 points. Harrison Lane leads everybody with 17 for Lafayette. We're tied at 44 with 3:35, and that's going to send one of the best free throw shooters in the region to the line in Harrison Lane. I asked him last night, I said, why are you such a good free throw shooter? He said, it's all about repetition. Just doing the same thing over and over And it kind of calms you down when you do the same thing over and over.
He had a very good teacher. I'd say his granddad, Don Lane, probably taught him that in Old McAllister over at Transy, one of those cold, snowy days.
And the 82% free throw shooter knocks that one down for his 18th point. I think Harrison likes it when we broadcast the games on PrepSpin. Last time we did Lafayette, he had 24 points against Mercer County. He's headed for a 20-plus point night tonight. He's got 20 already. Excuse me, that's 14, 19. 19 for Lane. I always say my score sheet is not official. Very unofficial. Morris over to Payne. Payne on the dribble, bounces back to Morris. 3:20 to play. 46-44. Lane just knocked down 2 big free throws for Lafayette to extend their lead back to 2. 3:13 in the ball game. Luke Johnson, corner to Donovan Morris. In the dribble, cut off, tries to go down low, knocked away, picked up by Wharton. Wharton down the middle, looks for Lane, lines up the 3, and he is fouled by Whitman. Harrison Lane will shoot 3 free throws. He sold it well. I don't know if there was a lot. Peter Whitman says there wasn't a lot of contact, but Harrison fell. There must have been something because he fell down to the court pretty good.
That's why officiating's so difficult. Probably 99% of the people followed the ball, and Clayton Brooks kept his eye on the shooter and obviously saw something there.
Harrison missed the first one of 3.
I think he was shocked that he missed it from the expression on his face.
This would be his 20th point to lead everybody. Luke Johnson has 14. Payne has a double-double for Catholic. Harrison Lane, and he has 20 now, Coach. That is 20 for Harrison Lane, who averages 12.5.
You got 2 guys, Ross Jenkins and Harrison Lane, 2 seniors out there that know this could be their last game, and they've certainly stepped up to the challenge.
They really have. Ross Jenkins has got about, 5 block shots at least. Harrison got 2 of 3. He now has 21 points, 48-44. Lafayette by 4. Payne, right side, crossing over. Goes in on Ross Jenkins and powers it up and in. That's a dozen for Payne. And it's 48-46. 2:45 to go here on PrepSpin. Gary Ball, Nate Valentine with William Warfield. William's been a little bit under the weather, Coach. He's battling a bad cold, but can't keep a good man down. Tomorrow night we'll have both games. The girls' game will be Lafayette girls against Lexington Christian. Big win for the Lady Eagles last night over Tate's Creek.
It was. Coach Miller's done an outstanding job and playing with a lot of young girls right now. And, the future's obviously very bright for them. But very happy to see those girls get a win and to see the expressions on their faces. They ran out of here last night with the W. Really happy for them.
And then LCA boys will take on Paul Dunbar at 8 o'clock. We'll have that game right. All those games on PrepSpin. Friday night, the district championships, both boys and girls right here. PrepSpin, and if you want to know about the 11th region, we got you covered. All games from the 11th region will be covered right here on PrepSpin beginning next Monday night, the 29th of February, running through Tuesday night, March 8th, the boys championship. Of course, the St. Elizabeth Healthcare KCAA Girls State Tournament gets underway March 9th. They're playing up at the BB&T Arena up in northern Kentucky this year. They're playing the girls. Of course, the boys has been a rep for a long time. 2:45 in the ball game, 48-46. This has OT written all over it.
Catholic comes out and puts a man on the ball, a different look than they've had all game.
Still by Johnson. He read Harrison Lane's long pass. Johnson down the lane. Scissors throws it up and draws. They say call a travel on Johnson. He didn't like the call. Timeout called as Jalen Jenkins was having a lot of difficulties getting that one in. 2:37 to go here in the ball game. 48-46, Lafayette by 2. But we'll step out here on the PrepSpin and come back. 2:37 to play. 48-46, Lafayette on top. Lexington Catholic in the 43rd District basketball tournament.
Folks, this is Gary Ball, and you hear my catchphrase, soup and a sandwich. When I want the best potato soup and prime rib sandwich, I head over to Rafferty's Restaurants after my games. Check out Rafferty's 9 great locations throughout Kentucky, and all you teens, you can eat at Rafferty's before those big ball games. The open prime rib sandwich is what legends are made of. Ask Joe B. Hall, the legend himself, it's his favorite. Rafferty's is a big supporter of high school sports throughout Kentucky. Rafferty's.
2:37 to go in this one. Gary Ball, Coach Nate Valentine, pass to Lane, saves it into Greer. Great save there by Harrison Lane. Good heads-up play. Harrison down the left side, down the middle. Lane dumps it over to Ross Jenkins, and he powers it up and in somehow. Boy, he took that right at Big Peter Whitman, and he won that battle. It's a dozen for Jenkins. Johnson to the basket, knocked away. Picked up by Ross Jenkins for a second. I thought he was going to shoot that up and in.
I did too.
Looked like he was going to try to put it up in, but he finally realized with that Governor Scholars academia that is, hey, this is not my basket. 50-46.
I think here's where you'll see Lafayette maybe spread this thing out and try to drive it.
2 minutes to play. Wharton, and he's going to be fouled on a reach. I think Johnson picked that one up. Yep.
Johnson, his
first foul on Johnson.
That was a terrific driving dish by Lane down here to Harrison. I mean to Ross Jenkins for the lay-in.
Harrison Lane leads everybody with 21 points. Luke Johnson and Zan Payne lead Lexington Catholic with 14.
Looks like Wharton took a shot on the arm there. Be interesting to see if he steps up and shoots it. Looks like he's going to.
Wharton is a junior. He's back next year for Coach Mendenhall. Well, there's a lot of good young players in this region, aren't there?
There is. It's a terrific talent region right now. You look around, and the young kids Scott County has, and all across the city, there's some terrific young kids in the 11th region.
Some pretty good young kids at Lexington Christian, too.
We have a couple.
Got the first, missed the second. Did Mr. Wharton, 51-46. Catholic does not need a three. There's still a minute 52 to play.
I would expect Johnson to get involved here.
Price to Payne. Payne spinning. Back over to Luke Johnson. A long three, and it's off the back. Rebounded by Price, though. Moores down low to Payne. Payne on Jenkins. Hanging, it rolls out of there. Well, had it gone, it would have counted for Zan Payne, but he'll go to the line, shoot a couple of free throws. You know, if you're Catholic, that's exactly what you want to do, Coach. Draw the foul, go to the line because you stop that clock. That's the most critical opponent you're playing right now is that clock with a minute 36 to play, and you're down 5, but you got to knock down the free throws.
Be interesting to see what they do here with the press. They've had success putting Payne on the ball and switching the defenses up a lot.
Payne, a 6'5 sophomore, averages a double-double, one of the best double guys in the region, probably the state. Got them both.
Substitution there by Catholic so they can set the press.
Yep, Harden comes in, minute 36. One possession ball game, 51-48. Lane, left-handed pass over to Wharton. Wharton dribbled and went over and back. He dribbled it off his foot. It went in the backcourt. Catholic gets the turnover they were looking for. Minute 28 to go here in this game in regulation, and Catholic a three-point shot away from tying this thing up. And they've certainly got some guys that can knock down the three, and Donovan Morris and Luke Johnson, who's got the ball, looking at the zone, over to Donovan Morris. Back to Luke Johnson. Over to the freshman Harden. Minute 12 here, 51-48. Catholic has the ball down 3, and Coach Brandon Salzman needs a timeout. Timeout with a minute 9 to go, and it's Lexington Lafayette 51, Lexington Catholic 48 here on PrepSpin. Again, our schedule tomorrow night at 6:15. We will have the girls game between Lexington Christian and Lexington Lafayette. At 8 o'clock, LCA boys will take on Dunbar boys, and then Friday night we will have the championship game. And, of course, big win tonight for Dunbar girls. They move into the finals Friday night to take on either Lafayette or Lexington Christian. And then the boys' championship, the winner here will take on the winner between tomorrow night between Dunbar and Lexington Christian for the 43rd title. 11th region draw, I believe, is Saturday at Eastern Kentucky University. They'll have the draw for who plays who in the opening rounds of the 11th region tournament. What are the coaches, what are Coach Salzman and Coach Mendenhall, what are they telling their ball clubs right now? Probably
I would imagine Coach Alsman's trying to figure out how to get Luke Johnson a shot or a drive to the rim. And there's still a lot of time left, so there's no need to take a quick three, but certainly Johnson has a green light and the ability to make it from anywhere beyond half court.
Next break, we'll get that final in Kentucky. I'm sure they won. Last time Coach Valentine checked, they were up 20. I wonder what Willis's ankle injury is. Is that have they said how long he's going to be out?
I'm not sure, but it looked pretty ugly on the picture.
It did. It looked bad. It was really got ugly feet anyway. But
like Lafayette is face guarding Johnson here and trying to deny him the touch.
Price. Yeah. Johnson gets it deep in the corner. Back to Whitman. Knocked away, but picked up. And did he go over and back? He might have. Yes. Price went over and back. Turn it over to Lafayette with 43 seconds. 43 seconds.
Both teams in the bonus here. I think Lafayette would try to get the ball back in Lane's hands. Catholic will probably try to get a quick trap and then have to foul in once they get in the front court.
Lane lobs it to Jenkins. Jenkins a good free throw shooter too, so they don't want to foul. Harrison Lane was wide open underneath the basket. Nobody found him. Cameron Green up 35 seconds, and Jenkins, and we're going to have a timeout as Johnson almost tied him up. Timeout with 32 seconds in regulation. Paul Chartier in the house here tonight.
That was a great timeout by Coach Mendenhall. Lexington Catholic has the arrow and saved a possession right there.
White, Greer, and Maggard are sponsored. Dr. White is going to join us tomorrow night in the boys' game. All sports in the Fayette Mall, Whitaker Bank, Raising Cane's, Bob Roberts Insurance, Central Bank, Rafferty's, UK Sports Medicine. 32 seconds, 51-48. It's been another tight one here at the 43rd District Basketball Tournament. And as I said, we've got more great games coming up tomorrow night and the championships Friday night. I think William and I are going to decide tomorrow if we're going to try and do the final. Tonight, Bryan Station and Henry Clay were playing over at Scott County. Scott County won the boys game. We're trying to make an executive decision tomorrow if we're going to go over there Thursday night and do that boys final Thursday night. Depending on who wins tonight, Henry Clay was playing Bryan Station for the right to play Scott County Thursday night in the championship on the 42nd. You know, if it's a good basketball game, PrepSpin's pretty much going to cover. You know
They're there. If it's, if PrepSpin's there, it's a big-time game.
This is big time right here. A lot of pressure on these young men, but they've all responded. 51-48. I think Harrison Lane has really been huge tonight, obviously.
Here he is. They're fighting hard to get him the ball, and obviously want to keep it in his hands.
Kicks it over now to Wharton, and here's going to be a foul with 26.7 to go. So that will send Wharton to the line, and it will be 2 because it's double bonus time for Lafayette, so he will shoot 2. Wharton not particularly a great free throw shooter. Well, if you consider 65%, that's pretty good.
Still a lot of time here. The Catholic doesn't have to go for a 3 just quite yet.
He missed that one. So Catholic still, if he makes this, they're down 4, but if he misses, 1 possession game.
Looks like Coach Alsman has instructed him to go ahead and try to get to the rim and then get a timeout after a score here.
He rattles that one in. 52-48, 25 seconds. Johnson over to Donovan Morris, down to 21 seconds. Skip over to Price. Price stops and pops him 15, and it rolls out, but he's fouled, and that will send Price to the line to shoot a couple. He has 9 points. Price, of course, hit 2 big threes in the first half and knocked down a big 3 here in the second half. The sophomore's come up big tonight. He's looking for double figures if he knocks this one down.
Yeah, he's been huge tonight. He's kept Lexington Catholic in it.
Missed a big free throw there, though.
2 possession game. This is a big free throw to get it back to 1 here.
16.5 seconds. Lafayette trying to move to the district finals on Friday night. He missed them both. Ross Jenkins rebounds. Kicks it out to Greenup, and they're going to foul him with 13 seconds to go. 2 big misses there by Price, who played so well tonight. 52-48. The winner advances. The loser, season's over.
And that's so hard to accept. You know, you got 2 teams here that could win a state championship, and one of them's going home in the first round of the district.
Greenup with a big free throw. He's come up big. I think Greenup has been a big cog for this team. He's got 9 points. Got them both. 54-48. 6-point, even if they make a three, they're down 3. Johnson stops, launches a 3. Off the iron, no rebound by Ross Jenkins with 4 seconds. And we're going to have a foul called, and Brandon Salzman is all over the official.
He's obviously been a little frustrated with the officiating. Hopefully we can get out of this without any technical fouls. We've had a great game to this point.
Lafayette will move on to the district finals on Friday night. They will play either Lexington Christian or Dunbar for the 43rd title. 2 outstanding basketball teams. Lafayette and Catholic, both ranked in the top 15 in the state. Lafayette at one time this year was as high as number 6 in the state, I believe, in the early when they jumped out to that 12-0 record.
I think there's 4 teams in the 43rd district that are in the top 25 right now.
Yeah. You moved into that top 25 poll as well.
We did for the first time this season, and happy for our guys.
Ross missed the first one, got the second one. 55-48, 3.8. Catholic is going to be knocked out of this tournament. Lafayette will move on, and Lafayette will get their 19th win tonight with this win. Try to get number 20 Friday night. No. Here's Johnson, a long 3. Won't go, and Lafayette, 55. Lexington Catholic, 48. Lafayette knocks Lexington Catholic out of this 43rd district tournament, 55-48. And we will come back here with the postgame show, William, and wrap things up after this timeout.
All S, all P, all O, R-T-S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
I am Lee, and I'm happy with my smile.
And I'm other Lee, and I ain't happy with my smile.
I went to White, Greer, and Maggard, and they fixed my smile for me.
And I never smile, and that's why I'm having some alone time here at dinner.
I love that I can go to White, Greer, and Maggard with all my questions.
And I love that I don't have to brush my teeth at night.
Don't be like this, me. Go to White, Greer, and Maggard for a picture-perfect smile.
Gary Ball, Coach Nate Valentine back here on the postgame show. Looking at the numbers, Coach, and as they say, numbers don't lie. 3-point shooting tonight for Lafayette, 7 of 20. But Harrison Lane, who finished with 21 points, he was 5 for 8 behind the arc that's a pretty strong shooting percentage.
Yeah, that's so much of it. As you get into the postseason, like I said, you can scout and you can do all that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to which team makes shots. The team that makes shots usually advances, and you can talk about defense wins championships all you want, but typically the team that makes shots and can make the open ones usually wins.
Another big double-double for Ross Jenkins. He had a total of 12 rebounds in the game, 11 points, 12 rebounds. Harrison Lane led everybody with 21. Luke Johnson, 14 points, 6 rebounds for Catholic. Zan Payne, another double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds for Zan Payne, which we talked about there late in the game that he had another double-double. Let's look at some team shooting. 17 of 37 for Lafayette from the field. That is 46% from the field. They were 10 of 17 from the two-point, just regular field goals, 7 of 20 from 3. They were out-rebounded by Catholic, 33-27, but we said 12, almost half their rebounds by Ross Jenkins, and Payne had 10 of the 33 for Catholic, and he's only a sophomore. They got pretty much everybody back next year. They lose Donovan Morse and Bagbuga. That's pretty much it. They got almost everybody else back for their squad next year. Speaking of Catholic, their season ends here tonight behind Harrison Lane at 21 points and Ross Jenkins with a double-double. Looking at some other numbers, free throw shooting, Lafayette not tremendous, 14 of 24 at the line. They missed 10 free throws tonight, but yet they win 55-48. So
yeah, when you don't shoot well at the foul line, but they made 14 free throws, and Lexington Catholic only attempted 9, and that's a stat you always want to shoot for, is you want to make more than your opponent shoots, and they certainly did that.
A lot of coaches look at turnovers, 19 turnovers for Catholic, 16 for Lafayette, but listen to this stat, 15 assists for Lafayette, 9 assists for Catholic. I mean, 6 more assists. I mean, therein lies why you're going to win the game. I mean, even though you get out-rebounded, you got 6 more assists in the game.
Yeah, and I think that had a little more to do with Lafayette's defense, and they kind of encouraged Catholic to drive it in there and challenge them to finish over Jenkins, and he did a great job protecting the rim.
Points off turnovers, Lafayette 19, Lexington 15 points off turnovers in this ball game. Looking at the three-point efficiency, we talked about that. Looking at the second chance points, Catholic 12 second chance points, 7 for Lafayette. And some other numbers of concern, 10 points off the bench for Lafayette, 5 off the bench for Catholic. I mean, you win by 7 and you get 5 more points off the bench if you're Lafayette.
Yeah, I mean, it was an even game. Yeah. It ended up being 7, but it was a one-possession game all the way through. And like I said, just a shame one team season's over.
Cameron Greenham, I got to give him a basketball. I got to give him a star or something. 10 points in this ball game. He also had just a rebound, but he had an assist as well. Jalen Jenkins had 4 assists and 4 assists for Wharton. But what can you say about Cameron Greenham coming into a huge pressure-packed game, chance to be knocked out or head onto the region? He comes up with 10 points.
Yeah, he was big. He made some big shots, and he didn't make it. He missed his first couple shots and had the courage to keep firing away, and certainly found the basket late.
T.C. Price had 9, but only 2 players in double figures for Catholic. Luke Johnson's 14 and Zan Payne's 14 points. So those are the numbers for particular. Great working with you, Coach Valentine. Look forward to your game tomorrow night as you take on Paul Dunbar at 8 o'clock. I'm doing my TV show, but I'm going to hustle back here and call that game tomorrow night with Williams. So looking forward to calling your game with Dunbar tomorrow night. And all the best, and appreciate your time tonight. Great job, and look forward to seeing you play tomorrow night against Paul Dunbar.
I certainly appreciate you having me. Enjoyed it, and it was a great game.
55-48. The victory goes to Lafayette. They head to the district championship tomorrow night. Join us at 6:15 for the girls' game between Lex Lafayette and Lexington Christian Academy girls. After that, 8 o'clock, Coach Valentine's Eagles will take on Scott Chalk and Paul Dunbar. Thanks to our sponsors tonight, White, Greer, and Maggard, our title sponsor, All Sports in the Fayette Mall, Whitaker Bank, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Central Bank, Rafferty's Restaurants, and UK Sports Medicine. Jenny Williams joined us at halftime from UK. For Coach Nate Valentine, William Warfield, the King of String, Gary Ball. So long from the 43rd District. Winners tonight, of course, Lafayette knocks off Lexington Catholic boys, and what a big win earlier tonight as Dunbar girls knocked off Lexington Catholic 51-48. Join us tomorrow night for further 43rd District action here on PrepSpin.com.
All right, man. Thanks, man.